There we are. Good morning. It's 10:01 on the East Coast. Boogie with the Bull, Red Friday Morning Caffeine with Bill Muckler, a retired Marine captain, an author, an entrepreneur. You've seen Bill on our broadcasts for a long time. He had the Bill Muckler Show on Facebook Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. I think you can still watch them in the Bill Muckler Show group on Facebook, and you should. Good morning, Bill. What is new and exciting? What should we discuss after addressing our weekly salute to Red Friday?
Good morning, Dave. Well, I guess what we should talk about is the great debate and whether what we thought about. Let's talk about Red Friday first. Remember, everyone deployed, all of our young men and women who are deployed overseas, and those who are about to be deployed overseas. During the debate, I'm going to bring this up. It's not part of what I want to talk about, but it was said during the debate by Kamala Harris that no service people, none of our armed forces personnel were killed while they were in office. That's just patently not true. And of course, this week was the week, and I want to talk about that a little bit because I've been talking about that for some time. The 13 that were killed in Afghanistan, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, and the Biden and Harris still have not recognized those 13 or their families. They haven't recognized that was their mistake, that they were responsible for it. They've not even recognized that these people even exist. And I think that's just tragic that they are so callous that they can't do that. But anyway, the families were on in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol at a hearing, and they all kind of told their stories and so forth. And of course, when the Republicans were it was the Republicans' turn to talk. They let the families talk, and of course, when the Democrats had their turn to talk, their 5 minutes, they talked about how this never happened and all kinds of crazy Looney Tunes crap that just makes you sick. And the one lady said, the only reason you're here is because the Republicans have put you up to this. You're Republican props, and you're doing this to make the Republicans look bad. And the one lady, God bless her, she said, you are insulting me. I am not here because of that. And I mean, she just chewed her out and read her off. And of course, the Democrat, the female Democrat, and I don't know which one it was because I never saw her name or heard her name.
Okay.
She didn't care. She didn't care. She made her point. She made the point that the Democrats were in favor of because she got it across that you are here as Republican props, and you're doing this just to further the Republican Party, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, that's just so obnoxious, unbelievable that the Democrats would feel that way. But you know why they feel that way, Dave? It's because they're responsible for it.
Right.
If Trump had been president and had made that mistake and they were killed, then the Democrats would be saying, oh, you poor people, gosh darn, look, it's those Republicans who are responsible for your loved ones being killed, and on and on. So the whole thing is the Democrats, the Marxists, are just They just are opportunists who take advantage of anything that comes up. They'll twist it to make their base look like, oh, they are so wonderful. Remember, I always say the Democrats are the party that believe, and they believe this fully, the end justifies the means. So if they can say this, that gets the point across that, hey, we're good, Republicans bad.
Yep.
Harris is good, Trump bad.
Well,
just on and on like that. So anyway,
go ahead.
We've got troops that are being deployed right now. I mean, they're on their way over there, and so I want us to be thinking about and praying for all of our people in the armed forces that are serving our country, because they can be just a heartbeat, a flight away from being deployed overseas. Anyway, I think it's appropriate for me to mention that not only were those 13 killed in Afghanistan, but there were 3 Army National Guard service men and women that were stationed in Jordan, that were their unit was activated, and they were killed. And I guess we forgot about them. And then we had the 2 Navy SEALs who were killed in an operation trying to retake a ship that the Houthis had hijacked, or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So, boy, we got short memories. And, and during the debate, nobody fact checked that.
Yep.
Just let it slide on by. So anyway, I guess, one of the reasons I'm on Friday is I'm the voice of our young men and women, because I kind of feel like, that I owe them something, and I think we all owe them something, some recognition, some thanks, some thoughtfulness, some prayers, and remembrance. So anyway.
Now, going back and looking at the debate, from the moment Kamala Harris walked out, crossed the stage, went up to President Trump, shook his hand, and said whatever she said, she must have planned on doing that and doing it intentionally. And I don't understand what she was trying to show, because they don't like each other. They can't stand each other. We already know that.
They've never met each other, Dave. And so what that was, it was all staged. Her whole appearance there, everything was scripted. It was a Hollywood script. What she did is when they walked to their podiums, I guess what on her script was, she was going to walk over and shake hands with Trump. So she walked over, and what she said was Kamala Harris. In other words, when you meet somebody and shake hands with them that you've never met before, you say your name. That's what she did.
Yep.
And she did that all the way over to Trump's podium. Kind of took Trump by surprise. Totally took Trump off his bearings. I thought it was a good move. Now, here's where we gonna get into a lot of trouble, Dave.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna be the guy who is gonna crush everybody's dreams. I watched this debate and I was just totally disappointed in the whole damn thing. But I thought Kamala Harris was astounding, because I didn't think she'd be able to utter a sentence without getting it all screwed up.
Yeah.
She went through the whole thing without, coming out with those stupid sayings where, she, 30 words come out of her mouth and none of them fit together. None of them even make a sentence, so and she didn't do that. She kept Trump on the defensive the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
she lied. She staged herself. She went like this. She smiled. She looked. Everything she did, she was like a Hollywood actress. She played her part magnificently.
Okay.
She was great.
Yeah.
Now, the substance of what she talked about, some of it was. Now, here's where I'm coming from now.
Okay.
I'm coming from, look at me as I'm going to portray those people who are in the 7 swing states: Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Those 7 states, there's probably somewhere between 10 and 20,000 people in those 7 states that have not made up their minds who they're going to vote for. They're the supposed wonderful, exalted independents. And this debate made no difference whatsoever to anybody other than those people. So let's say there's an average of about 15,000 in each one of those states. Times 7, that's 105,000. So there's about 100,000 people who are going to determine the course of our country over the next 4 years. And they're the ones who this debate was for. It doesn't make any difference what Trump said or what Harris said. The Democrats are not going to change their votes. They're voting for Harris. And the Republicans aren't going to change their votes. They're voting for Trump. And it's those people in the middle. Now, let's talk about those people in the middle.
Okay.
Oh, we talk about, aren't they? They're so smart and brave and courageous. I want to tell you, I think they're a bunch of dumbasses. Because let me tell you why.
Okay.
If you were at this point in your life where you haven't decided who you're going to vote for, you're either misinformed or uninformed, which means that you are really stupid. Because if you still do not know who you do think is going to be best for America for the next 4 years and going to be the best person to take America into the future for the next 4 years, you are completely negate of any kind of brain matter whatsoever. You have no sense whatsoever, because all you have to do is look at, did you like the American? Did you think the America that was under the 4 years under Trump was best? Or did you think the 4 years are under Harris? And everybody said 3.5 years or whatever. It's 3 years and 8 months. So let's just round it off. It's 4 years. Nothing's going to change between now and the end of the year. So this 4 years that Biden and Harris are the administration, is that 4 years best? Do you think that 4 years is best? Is that the 4 years that you want, or do you want the 4 years that Trump had? It's as simple as that. And if you can't figure that one out, you are such a dumbass. You don't deserve to vote. You should be deported to Greenland, or I don't even want to do that to the people in Greenland too. There's some deserted island someplace, and left the forage on your own, because you are that stupid. So anyway, Dave, here's the problem that I have. Our country's in the hands of these people who have no idea whether they think the life under Trump or life under Biden was better. Now, if you think that you like Biden and you think what Biden and Harris did was great and everything about it, then vote for him. Fine. But don't say, we don't know who to vote for.
Right.
We're waiting for this great epiphany. We're waiting for somebody to come out, out of the ether someplace and say, here is who you're supposed to vote for. Vote for Kamala, vote for Donald. This is this is so sad.
It is.
And so when people tell me, they say, I don't know who to vote for, I say, that's really sad. It's really sad that you have no idea what's happening in this country over the last 8 years.
Yep.
Don't you see what's happening? Don't you see it when you go to the service, put gas in your car, or go to the grocery store,
Yep.
or pay your insurance bill or your electric bill or whatever? Yep. I mean, if you think that's fine, and you like that, and you think that abortion is the best thing in the world, then you vote for Biden, you vote for Kamala Harris, and that's it. That's okay.
The biggest thing that gets me under her is this plan that she's been very public with, that, like you, and I'm just going to use a hypothetical number. Say your condo is worth, or your condo was worth $450,000 when you bought it. Now say it's worth $1 million. They want to tax you on capital gains taxes for that entire $1 million, even though you haven't sold your condo. And when you sell it for the $1 million, they're going to tax you again on the capital gains of making the $1 million. This is just. And then they talk about wanting to give money to people to help them buy homes. Give them money so they can buy a home, so they can tax you for buying the home on the value of the home, and then turn around. If you sell that home 4 years later and it's worth twice as much, they're going to tax you on that again. The biggest thing I hear about her is people complaining what she says.
You're jumping into the weeds a little bit ahead of me, but
okay.
That's okay. What you're saying is that's fine. If that's your issue, that's great. Then you say, okay, that's an issue that I can really relate to. That means I'm for Trump. I hate Trump. He's a no good SOB. He tweets. He's a mean tweeter, but he's not going to tax me to death. So I'm going to vote for him. That's one way to look at it. Now, remember, I'm the dumbass person.
You're not a dumbass. Don't ever call yourself
the role
a dumbass.
Of the dumbass independent who has no idea who to vote for.
Right.
So I look at this and I say, well, I guess if I vote for Kamala Harris, people, the news media all say, well, we don't know her. She needs to do some interviews. And now she wants to do a second debate, and Trump's saying no on that. But nobody knows who she is. And I'm saying, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We do know who she is. Here's who she is. She's a woman of color, period. That's who she is. She's a woman of color, period. That's why the Democrats are voting for her, because she's a woman of color, period. Okay. No other reason.
Right.
That's enough for them. Now, what does she stand for? She stands for free government paid abortions for anybody, anytime, any place they want it. She's for giving away everything that illegals want.
Right.
Give it all away to them, because we want to get them to a point where we can get their votes. And we want to make sure that we give a lot of money to our green partners, and make sure that we further our green agenda. Okay, so that's who I am. I'm a black woman of color who is favor of abortions for everybody, who supports the green agenda, and want to give away anything I can give away to immigrants, illegal. Oh, they're not illegals. Our new neighbors.
Right.
Okay, that's all you need to know. That's all she needed to say in the whole debate, and everybody said, "Wow." That's who we want, because we need to have a woman president, because that's going to be historic. Now, I would say maybe what you really need to vote for is what's best for America. Now, the first question that came out was to her, because Trump won the coin toss. How are we doing on time, by the way?
We got 40 minutes at least.
Okay, we got enough time for me to bloviate. Okay, so the first question out was, are you something to the effect of, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago, type of thing? And she came out and she talked magnificently, brilliantly for 2 minutes, and said everything and anything that had nothing to do with the question that was asked. She did not answer the question whatsoever. So she was magnificent from that point of view, because she did not allow all of my dumbass voters to know how dumbass she is. We couldn't figure out how dumb she is, how stupid she is, how completely illiterate and incompetent she is when it comes to governing, because she had rehearsed these lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when it comes Trump's turn, now let me talk, and let me get to the point now where it's just me saying how disappointed I was in Trump. I'm sitting there and I am going nuts for an hour and a half. I am going completely ballistic for an hour and a half, because why? I'm better prepared to do this debate than Trump is. I'm totally 100% better prepared to do this debate than Trump is. Trump was so unbelievably bad in this debate. There was no question about it. She didn't answer anything. All he said was, we got 21 illegals, and they're letting them out of their country. They're emptying out their jails. They're emptying out their insane asylums. Right. They're coming across our border. There's 21 million people coming in our country, and the crime is down all over the world, but crime's through the roof. Through the roof.
Yep.
Crime's through the roof. That's all he said the whole time. Unbelievably not prepared. So anyway, after the first question that she misanswered, because she's not going to answer that question, because she knows damn good and well that most of the people know that America is a lot worse off today than it was 4 years ago. But for those dumbass independents who don't have a clue, she answered the question for them perfectly. I got to tell you, Dave, this is going to blow your mind.
Go ahead.
This is in the area of the maybe you need to put me away in an insane asylum.
Wait a minute. Listen, folks, Bill Muckler is going to go Looney Tunes for the first time on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast.
I'm sitting there waiting for the debate to come on. It's about 8:55 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I wonder what this is going to be all about, and I wonder, how it's going to work and everything. And I had this kind of vision, like I was maybe daydreaming or something like that. And I had this vision of Harris standing at the Capitol on July 20th with her hand on the Bible, being sworn in as the 47th president of the United States of America. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to get this out of my mind. This is like a nightmare, But I had this vision, like, just as clear as could be, and I'm thinking, if this happens, what do we do? How do we get through 4 more years of this? Okay, so the way Trump should have came back from this is, look, America 4 years ago, I left America in great shape. They keep telling me it's in bad shape because they want to go back and they want to play the COVID-19 deal. But if you go back to where we started back in January of 2017, for the next few years, that we actually had a viable country without the China virus coming in to get us.
Yep.
We had a great and growing economy. We had a safe world. We had no wars, and he could have all the good things that happened then. And since then, they've screwed it all up, and they've raised inflation. They've screwed up the economy, education, the environment, everything you can think of is worse than it was before. So it was good under us. Then when they started asking more questions, for example, she came out and said, Trump's for the 2025 plan, or whatever the hell it's called.
Project 2025.
Project 2025. And Trump says, I've never read it. As soon as she mentioned Project 2025, why didn't the ABC moderators say, hey, wait a minute, Trump has never said that he's been a supporter of Project 2025. In fact, check them. So anyway, what Trump should have said was, and he kind of said it a little bit, but he completely blew it, is he should have said, I've heard about Project 2025. Obviously, you've read it, Kamala, but I have never read it. I don't know anything about it. I don't support it. It's not part of our platform. It's not part of my plan. It's none of my policies. There's nothing about Project 2025 that I'm even familiar with. I have no idea what you're talking about. But let's talk about what you're in favor of. You are in favor of having Agenda 2130 run our country. And for all of you out there who don't know what Project Agenda 2130 is, here's what it is. It's on the UN website. And anybody can Google it and go to the UN website and Google Agenda 2130, and you can read exactly what the Democrats are doing, because they are looking at the UN takeover of the world. And this is the playbook for everything that has anything to do with the economy, education, environment, healthcare, immigration. And by the way, their immigration plan is complete open borders worldwide, that there are absolutely no borders whatsoever. This is what the Democrats are in favor of. So Kamala Harris, why don't you tell us why you think Agenda 2130 is best for America? Shut up.
No, you can't.
What? But he missed that whole point on that. He just completely missed that. Then what was he talking about? He's talking about eating cats and dogs and stuff like that. Why in the world would you bring that up? And he kept going back to immigration, or the illegals, the 21 million illegals, and emptying out the jails, through the roof, all that stuff. Everything he talked about was that. That's not for the dumbasses in the middle. They don't care about that. That's for your base. They're already voting for you, Donald. You don't have to say that again. You can say it once, and that's it. That we're all going to vote for you.
Right.
We're not going to vote for Harris if we don't know that. And besides that, here's what he should have done when the fact checker said, Mr. President or Mr. Trump or what they said, the FBI statistics show that crime is not up in America, it's down. And he's saying, crime's through the roof.
Yeah.
He's not prepared. I'm prepared. All he had to say was, look, I understand what you're coming from with this FBI report, but that FBI report didn't include cities like New York and Los Angeles and Philadelphia and Detroit, because they didn't turn their statistics in. So the FBI issued this report without the statistics from those cities.
Right.
So obviously it looks like crime might be down. But if you add those cities in, and let's give an example. In New York, for example, crime is up 70%. Migrant crime is 70% of the crime in New York City, which is up.
Right.
Why didn't he say that and say, well, the illegals are emptying out the jails and they're emptying out the insane asylums? And he just kept talking about that. God, and give a question that somebody can say, okay, now I understand what that FBI report's all about. Right. Did anybody come away from there understanding what the FBI report's all about? No, they didn't do it. He had a perfect opportunity to do it. That's why I'm saying I'm better prepared to do this debate than he was.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what else can we talk about?
Rumor has it that she got into Philadelphia a week before and was held up at the one of the nicest hotels, and she and her team, that's where they were. They didn't leave that hotel room for
Pittsburgh.
They didn't leave that. They didn't leave that hotel room for a week getting ready.
Yeah, okay. So what?
Yeah, no, I know.
So she's there for 2 months. I don't care.
Right.
Because the further away we can keep her from Washington, D.C., the better off the country is. Because we don't want her to have her hands on anything that has to do with our government.
Yeah.
Okay, that reminds me. So bring up abortion.
Oh, God.
She's fantastic on abortion. Trump blows abortion. What does Trump say? Oh, in West Virginia, they're killing babies after they're born, and the new governor, of course, stopped it. But the old governor, he didn't. The new governor, he's a good guy, and then he went on and on about this, and just completely blew it and mentioned it. What he should have said was, "Look, there's several states in which partial birth abortion has been brought up, and it's been brought up by the states. The federal government now has no say in abortion because the Supreme Court ruled that abortion is turned over to the states. So as president, I would have nothing to do with abortion. No president will ever have anything to do with abortion. No president will ever sign a bill on abortion, because no abortion bill will ever be passed, because it's now been, the Supreme Court has said it's been turned over to the states. Now, what he should have said was not West Virginia, but Virginia. Now, he did come back later and had his senses a little bit. He didn't correct himself, but he said Virginia. If he'd have said in Virginia, the prior governor actually proposed, not put in the law, but proposed that we could take babies that are born and set them aside, make them comfortable, and then let the doctor and the mother decide if they wanted to abort the baby.
Yeah.
The new governor, Glenn Youngkins of Virginia, not West Virginia, Virginia, he blew that.
Okay.
Because, I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not West Virginia, it's Virginia. They're two completely different places.
I got the impression watching him the entire time, he knew that he was a powder keg on a platform waiting for the right moment when she would say something to him that would just make him go off on her in classic Trump style, but he knew that he couldn't do that. So it looked to me like most of the time he had his eyes kind of looking like he was paying attention to what she was saying. I don't know if he was actually hearing and understanding it a lot, but he was more concerned with making sure he didn't just blow up on her. I mean, I think the only time he really kind of blew up on her was one time when she was talking about jobs, where again, the Democrats said, we created 800,000 jobs. And he finally did come back and he said, but you really didn't create 800,000 jobs. These were 800,000 people that were sidelined, that couldn't work during the lockdown. And the understanding was at some point they either had to come back and take their job or lose their job. And that's what happened. Some of them came back, some of them didn't. The companies had to hire the people to replace people. So it wasn't really any job that the Biden campaign or Biden administration created. They were, I forget what Trump said, but it was something like comeback jobs, to where they had to come back. I'm really even tired of hearing about that. And sometimes I'm even tired of hearing about the lockdown.
For our audience, I have to fact check Dave.
Okay.
We're talking 800,000 jobs. No, what they're talking about is the 16 million jobs that were lost or put in lockdown in the year 2020, Trump's last year in office, when the country was in lockdown. We're all wearing masks, and we had the social distance, 6 feet, and all that stuff. So those 16 million people, what he should have said was, there were 16 million people that got locked down, but I didn't lock them down as president. They were locked down by the states. The states were in charge of this. I offered help to states with the National Guard, but I had nothing to do with the lockdown. And those jobs were not lost. They were just locked out because the states decided that they were going to follow the rules from the leftist holdovers, Fauci and Birx, Dr. Birx, who were giving us all the misinformation on COVID-19. That's all been proven. I'm Trump talking now. Go ahead. This is me being prepared for this. So those 16 million people are coming back. You did not create those jobs. Those jobs I created, they were already in place. Now, what you've done is you've overinflated the employment statistic throughout your entire administration, to the point that you've overreported 818,000 jobs that don't exist, that never existed. You just made them up and wrote them down on paper. Those jobs never existed. So now the reports have been corrected, and therefore the low employment rate that you keep talking about needs to be adjusted, and it'll go up and show that you've really failed miserably in creating jobs.
Yep.
That's what he should have said. But no, illegals are taking all your jobs. They're taking the jobs of the black people. They're taking the jobs of the Hispanic people, and they're letting them out of the insane asylums and everything. And that's all he talked about. And I'm thinking, stop with that. Stop with talking like that. You're blowing this whole thing. Why can't, if I can do this, and I'm prepared on Tuesday, it's already Friday, and I'm still prepared for how to do this.
Right.
Now, in the subject of inflation, Trump, and she gives some kind of talk about opportunity and economy. What in the hell is that? What does that mean? Every time you get a job, it's an opportunity to go to work. What she means by that, nobody knows. There's no substance behind it.
It sounded like at one point she said, "If you want to start a business, we'll give you $50,000."
Yes.
And I'm thinking again. Here we go. It's Biden and student loans. You want to start a business? We'll give you $50,000. You're not going to have to pay it back. Your American citizen taxpayers will pay it back.
Here's how Trump should have handled that. He said, look, everything that they're proposing is to give people a lot of money, to bribe people into voting for them.
Right.
Because we know that there's no way you're going to give $50,000 to start up a new business or give them a $50,000 tax credit. We know that's never going to happen.
Right.
We know that this $6,000 for families for each
child tax credit.
They already get that. They already get that. So all these things that you're talking about, these are all giveaways. You're buying votes. You're bribing
Right.
people to vote for
Right.
you. What I'm saying is I'm going to give people the opportunity to go to work and earn a living and have something that they can be proud of and feel good about. So anyway, let's talk about employment. The employment that we had under my administration was the lowest it's ever been, and those were true numbers. They weren't fake numbers.
Right.
Those numbers weren't adjusted down. Your numbers have been adjusted down. But what does he do? He starts talking about it's through the roof. Whatever that means, through the roof. Whatever, I have no idea.
Right.
So anyway, when they talked about inflation, what does he do about inflation? After she gives her deal on inflation, which is totally inane, stupid, incompetent, unarticulate, and I have no idea what she's talking about. All he had to say was, when I left office, the inflation rate was 1.4%. That's not actually inflation. That's the consumer price index was at 1.4%. Now, that is somehow, it kind of relates to inflation, which inflation is more about how much money the Fed releases into the economy based on the bills that Congress passes, like the American Recovery Act, which was a disaster, and the Inflation Reduction Act, which is another disaster, which released trillions of dollars into the economy, which didn't really go to the economy. They went to your green friends. Now, let's talk about inflation. It was 1.4%. Now, I don't even like that because I want zero inflation, but zero inflation is probably going to be almost impossible during a growing economy. So we know it's going to be a little bit the economists, and you're talking about all these economists from all these different places. None of them ever said that. You prove that. And if you said that, they're all your donors. So don't give us that. Here's how it works. 2% is considered normal inflation. People can live with that. We had a 1.4%. So actually, our inflation was less than what most economists say is a good level to be. When you got in, you took it up to 9.1%. And then the next time the inflation numbers came out, they were like 6%, 6.1%. But what you failed to say is the rate of inflation came down, but the cumulative effect of inflation continued because you have to add the 9% and the 6%, which comes up to 15%. Now, everybody in the audience knows, and now I'm Trump saying, and everybody in our viewing audience knows that prices at the grocery stores are up 21%. That's not a falling inflation rate. That's a rising inflation rate because inflation, the consumer price index is cumulative. So now you're paying 21% more than you were when I was president. You're paying more than that at the gas pump. You're paying more than that and he could have given statistics and known statistics like 40% more for your energy costs for heating and your electricity. And you're paying 50% more on your automobile insurance and your homeowner's insurance, and gone on and talked about that. But no, he says it's through the roof. I know you probably a lot of your viewers either hate me or they don't out or whatever because they think that I'm denigrating their hero Trump. And all I'm saying is I was just so disappointed because I just felt like I was so much better not fact checked, but prepared for this debate than he was. Now I can go on and on. I don't know how much further you want me to go on and on about everything that he said and how he should have said it. This goes all the way back to the last debate in 2016. In October of 2016, when they asked him, because they asked a similar question this time, will you accept the results of the election? They asked Trump that.
Right.
And he gave some gobbledygook answer. And I'm thinking, oh God, no, don't, no, stop,
Yeah.
shut up. What you say is you have to be prepared. He's not prepared. You have to know that question's coming. And the correct answer for that, Dave, is this very simply. Will you accept the results of the election? And Trump says, yes, of course I will accept the results of the election because I am going to win the election,
Right.
and therefore I accept the results. And in which the moderator then comes back, no, I ask you, will you accept the results if you lose? And then Trump comes back and says, I will accept the results of the convention of the election because I am going to win the election. And so therefore it would be silly for me not to accept it, and just keep saying that over and over again. Let them ask that same question 20 times, give them the same answer 20 times, because that's what they do in debates. They bullshit in debates. They don't answer the question that you ask. So come up with the answer that's best suited for you. When they oh God, when they start talking about January 6th, he said, and she said, 140 police officers were injured and some were killed. And he came back and said no one was killed. Oh, and he did mention Ashley Babbitt, so that was a good thing. But what he should have said was, look, I gave an address. The people that were going to the Capitol building, they already went to the Capitol building before I finished giving my address. And I said peacefully and patriotically, and you keep twisting that around, but I said peacefully and patriotically. And I did not want them to go to the Capitol. And he did mention he offered Pelosi and Bowser, the mayor, 10,000 National Guard troops. And he should have just talked about that, how he offered them that, and days in advance he offered that, and he offered it again, and they refused, and they said, no, we don't want it, because they knew, and here's where he should have come up with a little conspiracy theory, because they knew what was going to happen, because they already knew that the FBI had planted the people in that audience to do this, and those are the people that should be in jail, not the patriots that you got in jail.
I just get tired of hearing him get asked that question, because I was watching the speech through Facebook because a friend of mine was at his speech, aimed her cell phone camera up at him and held it so that we could see him giving that speech. And nowhere in that speech did he say anything about going there and having some kind of insurrection or whatever you want to call it, rumble there. He was very clear, very articulate, peacefully march down there,
peacefully,
go inside,
patriotically.
Right. Talk to your elected representatives and tell them what you think is going on. And that's what he said. And then Adam Schiff, in, I don't remember which impeachment hearing it was in, brought that up again. And one of Trump's lawyers played, I think, 25 minutes back from where Schiff said Trump told them to go and wreak holy havoc, played the 25 minutes right there in the impeachment hearing, and it wasn't there. It was not there. He didn't say it. He never told people to do it.
The Democrats don't care about that, though, because they don't care about the truth. They just care about how can we achieve the end result we want. We don't care how we cheat, how corrupt we are, how disingenuous we are, how much we lie about. as long as we can get to the end result we want. So whatever the means are to get there, we're for them. And if that means lying,
Yeah.
we lie, So yeah, they know that. And so I guess I'm at a point in my life. Boy, then my next birthday, I'm going to be 90. I don't know if I can do this that much longer, Dave. But
That's okay.
I'm at a point in my life where I just know that they're going to lie and they're going to misrepresent the truth, and they're going to pull off all this crap, and then they're going to say it's a Republican stunt. They have their code words. It's a Republican stunt. Anytime the Republicans do something, it's a Republican stunt.
Yeah.
Then they use their code words like, let me be clear. Boy, as soon as you hear, let me be clear, you know that a big lie is coming. It's a lie coming. Get ready, get prepared, because you're going to get a big lie. Another one of their code words is, this is another one the politicians use, make no mistake. Make no mistake. They come up with this,
If you listen to what they're saying, it's a big mistake.
They have all these code words they use. It's like they haven't done anything original. Now, talk about original. Boy, I wrote a couple of books.
Yeah, two
on how to solve problems in America. And nobody wants to have anything to do with them, because if they did, they would have to admit that they've been screwing this thing up forever, and they've been doing it intentionally. And I got to tell you, they are intentionally screwing up America so they can stay in office, so they can fix what they broke. And they'll never fix what they broke, because they'll keep breaking more and more, and they'll never get anything fixed. And let me give you the evidence for that. $36 trillion in national debt is the evidence that they have completely screwed us over and have screwed the country up and have done everything that you can imagine.
Yep.
So that's all part of this thing. Hey, let's talk about also when they talked about Springfield. Trump really screwed that up. He should have said Springfield has a population. Now, I've heard all kinds of numbers, but if my numbers are wrong, it's because they're the last numbers I've heard. Okay. But I heard that their population going back was 48,000. So let's just use round numbers just for talking purposes, so we can get the point across.
Okay.
So let's say their population was about 40,000 plus, 40,000 people. Now they brought in, some say 15,000, some say 20,000. 20,000 illegal invaders into Springfield, Ohio. So now what they've done is they've added 50% onto the population of Springfield. Springfield's an old town. I've been through there before. It's kind of a neat old town. Got a lot of old buildings. Been around for a long time. It was a kind of a seat of industry. They had some companies there that and everything. Without getting all the details of that, all Trump had to do was say, "Look, Springfield was a town of about 40,000 or so people. The Biden-Harris administration they actually brought in 20,000 illegal invaders, most of which, at least 15,000 of them, were Haitians from this Haitian program that they have. And now these people from Haitian, who have no idea what the culture of America is, they have their own culture. They've come into this country and they have no place to live. So the government, the Harris-Biden administration, has caused them to put them up in houses. So they made these houses into like dormitories where there's 20 and 30 people living in houses, and they've wrecked the neighborhoods. Yep. And the amount of and they drive cars. They don't know how to drive because they don't have traffic laws and traffic the way we do in Haiti, the way we do here. So there's at least a half a dozen accidents every day. They're not insured, so that's wrecking the town.
Right.
They're in school, but now the schools can't handle it because they can't handle an additional 50% of students in the schools, and then the hospitals and doctors' offices can't handle an additional 50%.
Hospitals are shutting down.
People who are coming in with diseases that we're not familiar with, with ailments that we're not familiar with, and they're coming in cultures that we're not familiar with. This is not what's best for America. So what I'm saying as Donald J. Trump is I'm saying what's best for America is not to bring these illegals in. And then Harris says, well, the people crossing the border is down. And we had this great border bill, which all the Republicans were for, but they decided that they were going to defeat the bill because Trump said he wanted to defeat the bill so he could talk about the problem, in which Trump should have come back and said, look, I know about this bill. And here's what this bill was all about. This bill was to limit the amount of illegals coming across the border at 5,000 a day. And I think it was 18,000 or something like that a week.
Yeah.
Who in the world could administer that? And so what you, in this bill, you wanted to add 1,500 more border guards who are only going to be people who would process the paperwork to bring these invaders in faster than they're coming in now. In the meantime, this bill would allow a certain number to come in just free. They could come in. So now you say you have slowed down the amount of invaders coming across our border. Now what you're doing is you're flying them in from Haiti and from Venezuela and from Cuba and other places. You're flying them into cities in the heartland of America, and they're bypassing going across the border. So you're saying border crossings are down, but they're not down. The number of people coming in and landing on our soil is up.
Right. They get to Texas shifts into Florida.
How could a going on 90-year-old guy?
They come in through Texas. Governor Abbott sends them to his buddy.
Okay, so
DeSantis sends them up to sanctuary cities along the East Coast because he says Florida is not going to pay for them. Yep.
You and I, and the people who are viewing this, we know all this stuff. We know it all.
Yep.
Why wasn't Trump better prepared for this all-important debate to just demolish her? God, if I could have been up there, I would have loved to debate her. I'd have just completely demolished her. She would have walked off of there in a cold sweat, not knowing what her name was. When she came out and said, I'm Kamala Harris, she'd have walked off and said, I have no idea who I am anymore. But
it seemed
Trump
like
could have done that if he was.
Chris Christie was there.
Let me tell you why this is it.
Okay.
Trump has these rallies. Oh, that was another one.
Oh, yeah.
He completely blew that. God, Trump, you blew that when she said, well, they leave your rallies early.
Yeah.
And Trump should have said, wait a minute. I went to a rally and you, the Biden administration, and your director of Mayorkas of Homeland Security, and your director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, failed on their jobs, and I ended up getting shot. And one of our good citizens that was there was killed, and two other patriots were injured, and no one left. They all stayed there. They didn't leave. So why are you saying that people leave my rallies early? So anyway, let's talk about how you failed and how we still don't know what happened, except that we know there was a complete failure by your Secret Service. And I'm wanting to know is, did you plan it that way?
I
Did
think
you
so.
plan? Did
Yeah.
you plan not to have Secret Service protection? Because you sure didn't give it to Bobby Kennedy Jr. when he needed protection, and
Right.
his father and his uncle were both assassinated, and you refused him
Right.
uh, Secret Service protection, and we've asked for an increase in protection, and you didn't give that to us either. And now we can't even find out that from an investigation from 2 months ago, from July 13th, who did this, who was behind this, what happened. We still don't know because your administration is obviously not competent enough to give us an answer.
Right.
Why didn't he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I'd have been great on that at that podium.
I think it's going to be a debate that will go down in the books and homeschoolers around the country, because I still think homeschooling is better. You seem to agree as well, but I mean, this election is going to be talked about forever in
Well,
our
they let me tell you, back in 2000, Bush 43 ran, Bush 45 ran against Gore. It was the most important election of our lifetimes. There'll never be another election like it.
Yeah.
Then in 2004, Bush ran against Kerry. And this is the most important election we've ever had because we're at war in Iraq and the Taliban. And, it's caused 9/11. By the way, we haven't even talked about 9/11. God
Right.
bless all those families that suffered the losses of 9/11. And I know you did a show on Wednesday on it.
You did a show on Wednesday.
And thank you for that. And I know we're going
No
over
problem.
time, but in any case, we well let's just end it there because we're going over time, and
Okay. Well,
I don't want to just keep piling on.
Okay.
Everything we're talking about, Dave, what you and I are talking about, our viewers already know that they've got this cemented in their heads. What I'm so disappointed in is the fact that, and this is the point I was going to make about Trump. Trump goes to these rallies and he loves these rallies. And boy, everybody there, they got these overflow crowds and they just adore Trump. And everybody's got their red hats and their signs and everything. And so he's great at this. He's a showman. He's an entertainer. There's no question about it. But when he gets in these debates, I don't think he prepares 1 minute for him. He just goes in thinking this is like another rally, and she's so stupid I can blow her away. So what?
Yeah.
In the meantime, your country, my country, and our viewers' country is at stake because you didn't prepare for this election. And God help us if we lose this election because those dumbass independents who have no idea what's going on are going to set the course for our country for the next 4 years.
If the Democrats win this election, everybody has talked about this. Everybody has an opinion one way or the other. But there seems to be an opinion out there, and it's not a Looney Tunes thing. It seems to be a lot of people are saying if the Democrats win this election, there might not ever be another election in the United States of America.
Well, we said that in 2016. We said that in 2020.
Okay.
And the Democrats say that if Trump wins, and the Republicans say that if the Democrats.
Okay.
I don't see anything like that ever happening. I just see us gradually drifting into Marxism and having our countries to a point where we've totally adopted Agenda 2130 because that's really what their policy is Agenda 2130. Just go and read it. It takes a while. It's lengthy. Read it and you'll understand. Now you'll know why I am so passionate about this because I know what the opposition's playbook is.
Yep. All right, folks, I'm going to throw this out. Everybody who was out there, I don't know how many people are actually out there because Facebook changed again the way they show me the number of people that are watching live. It's not the way it used to be. It's not the way they changed it. They changed it to something else. But everybody who's watching, everybody who watches the podcast, because we track them for a week, your assignment is to read as much as you can of Agenda 2130 and be ready to discuss it next week. Also, this is the part of the broadcast where if you have not bought Bill's book, 6 Soft Targets, you haven't started reading it, buy it and read it. We're going to finish it up in the next couple of weeks because it's only 300 pages. If you're a dedicated reader, disciplined reader, can sit and read, it's 300 pages. I've read the first 4 chapters and then just crap got in the way. We were moving. My wife was in the hospital for a week. Every excuse I could give Bill that if I had to read it, and didn't, that, the ends do not justify the means. Read the book. I've said it before and I say it again. It's Bill's blueprint from what the eyes of Bill Muckler thinks went into the planning and the execution of 9/11. I understand it does get a lot better when you get past chapter 5, because I know that people got into chapter 13 and then I lost touch with them to see what it is. And Bill has said, a few times, it'll get more interesting, and it does. And I've asked about some things that I think prove later that, again, it's read it. So buy it, sit down and read it. Let's wrap it up and discuss it. Bill has said after we finish going through 6 Soft Targets, we will go back to the 2020 books. I've kind of said with Bill, because Bill said the best way to read it is open each book up, read the chapters that are of interest to you in that particular order, then go back and read the rest. Bill will assign a chapter that you have to read for next Friday, and we'll come back and we'll discuss that as well as everything else that we discuss on the broadcast. Go to the Bill Muckler profile and message him that you want the books. He'll tell you how to order the books. But that's the important thing. As far as repeating. After 6 years of doing this, I've kind of learned sometimes you just have to keep repeating and repeating, and then one day people go, "Oh!" Well, so that's kind of what we do. But it is a pleasure to have you here, Bill, every Friday. We start at 10. Sometimes we end at 11. Sometimes we end at 11:30. It all depends on what Bill's agenda for Friday and the weekend is. So I will leave it up with you, Bill. We can continue on till 11:30, or we can wrap it up and put a ribbon on it and come back next Friday if you're available.
I think our viewers got a flavor for what my thinking was during this week.
Good.
I think they know what we're talking about. They don't need any more fine print or any more in the weeds details. I think I covered it all.
All right.
Enough of it pretty well that they got the idea. If you want to talk more about this with me, hey, you can get me on Facebook or my webpage, and I'll do a telephone call or whatever with you to tell you why I'm thinking the way I am and so forth. Anyway, Dave, let's let our viewers go and enjoy their weekend.
Okay. All right, Bill. I hope that we will see you next Friday if you're available, and if you're not, then we'll go the following Friday. But
I plan on next Friday.
Okay.
You're on my calendar for every Friday for the rest of the year except for Christmas.
Yeah, the Friday the 20th of December. I have to be on a phone call at 11:15. So we can either start a little earlier if we can, start at 9:45 and be done by 10:45. That would help me. Otherwise, before Christmas, you might not be available.
We'll just do a Christmas special from 10 to 10:30 that day.
Okay, we'll do a Christmas. That works. I have a doctor's appointment. They moved to a phone call because the doctor is really busy that day. And
okay,
all right, Bill. Always a pleasure. We will see you soon. People, go to the Bill Markler Facebook page and read the ads and buy the 2020 books. Buy 6 Soft Targets. If you're not on Facebook, I'll send you a link to his Facebook page where you can read it. We'll get you onto his website, and we'll go from there.
Okay. God bless America.
All right, Bill, you have a great weekend. Bill Markler, a retired Marine Corps captain, an entrepreneur, an author, as we talked about, wrote the 2020 books, 2020 A Clear Vision for America, 2020 A Clear Vision for Our Future. Buy them, read them. The first one, Clear Vision for America, I believe, was published in 2015. I believe the second one was published in 2018, Clear Vision for Our Future. 6 Soft Targets, the novel, came out this year. And I believe because Bill found a folder of notes and things that he had intended on putting into 6 Soft Targets, there will be a sequel named Aftermath. Look for it. Not sure when it will be out. Maybe 2 years, maybe less. Who knows? Give the man a break, but I hope he will put it out soon. 89 years old and he's still going. Knows his stuff. Doesn't care about coming on and calling a spade and telling you the honest truth from a conservative point of view. I enjoy having Bill on. This is the part where I normally look at my phone and go onto Facebook and go in and look to get an accurate. Well, it says we had 2 shares, but that's not right. There's close to 62 shares this morning. That will change as soon as it posts as a podcast. 27 people watching means that they updated it from 2 people that were watching for most of the broadcast, but I don't believe that is true. But anyway, we'll see when it posts in a few minutes on my profile exactly how many people were watching live, and we'll go from there. And if you came into watching it late, go back and watch the beginning or the whole thing when you get a chance. Bear in mind that, like I said, we try to get it into as many Facebook groups as we can every day. The only live chat on Facebook that is monitored, meaning I watch it as it happens, is the live chat on my profile. Then you have the live chat on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel if you watch it there. Those 2 live chats are live, come up on my screen. If they don't come up on my screen properly, I'll read it because I'm watching it on Facebook on my profile. If you make a comment on the post in any group that it's on, I don't get notified until Facebook registers that you made a comment on the post in that group. I try to go through and read every single one of them. I try to respond right there. I invite people to come and watch the broadcast. But yes, the best place to watch it is on my Dave Goldman profile here on Facebook or the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and be in one of those 2 live chats for now. So this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you you've been watching Boogie with the Bull, Red Friday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. It's our pleasure to have Bill on. Anybody who does broadcasts or wants to take a portion of a broadcast and make a post and share it all over Facebook, you're more than welcome. If you're a broadcaster and you take it and you want to put it onto your broadcast, please at least give me the decency of being able to be on your broadcast so that I can explain what happened. Okay, and not that I really need to, but I can explain what happened. every Friday from 10 to 11:30. It's the same that it always is, politics plus whatever comes out of our mouths. So we may start with politics and we'll maybe go off into something else, then come back to politics and wrap up from there. 10 a.m. Monday, 10 a.m. Wednesday, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Caffeine. Those are open broadcasts. Anybody is welcome to join me on the broadcast. Anybody is welcome from the live chat to question or make comments. You're welcome to make comments on Red Friday morning, and I'll make sure that Bill reads them, or I read them to Bill, and we address them in the live chat. It's just tough because Facebook is playing games that is just making it harder. Maybe we'll go and watch the broadcast on YouTube from now on, and maybe suggest that people go to YouTube and watch it live instead of watching it on Facebook. I don't know. YouTube's been great. They haven't given me any kind of punishment for posting something they didn't like in a long period of time, and I know that I continue to post things on my YouTube channel, Boogie with the Bull, that they don't want to hear. They don't believe that I'm telling the truth on things. But find yourself a responsible source that you believe will tell it to you straight. We try to tell it to you straight here on Boogie with the Bull. We give you a chance to be in a live chat or come on the broadcast most of the time and call us a spade. Call us on anything that we do. You're more than welcome to do that. Pages you should watch: the Michael Anthony Facebook page. Watch Michael Anthony. Watch his page. Share his posts. Watch the broadcasts that he does. Share those broadcasts. Straight Talk with Randy and Jen, or Jen and Randy, either way, however you see it. Tuesday and Thursday afternoon at 10 a.m. Eastern. Watch that broadcast. Share that broadcast. The only way that we know for sure people are seeing it is to share a broadcast as wide on Facebook when you're watching as you can. Every group that you think it should be in, put it in. If you're not sure, put it in anyway, and the admins or moderators might bounce it from a broadcast or put a comment on it that for reasons that they bounce it. And I try to pay attention to those and make sure we're only sending the broadcast to groups on Facebook that want it. That's what we do. Or go to the YouTube channel and watch it and be in the live chat over there. And that's it. So go off and have a fantastic weekend. It's time for me to have lunch. The dogs had breakfast. I didn't do breakfast just to enjoy my iced coffee, but it's time to have lunch. Deli sandwiches are waiting for me. I hope you eat lunch. It's very important. It was brought to my attention, seeing the neurologist yesterday. I have lost 10 pounds, and it's okay, but now I got to just start eating again. I didn't need to lose the weight, but eating and staying a little bit more healthy. So be vigilant, listen to what you hear. As I always tell people, come to a broadcast with a pad of paper and a writing implement and make notes. And then at the end of the broadcast, read your notes and then make your own decision. That's all I can tell you. We give you the information. You don't have to agree with us. You can agree to disagree with us on anything that you hear. You can come on a broadcast, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Tell us whatever. It's always open. Anyway, I'm Dave Glibin. You're not. I appreciate. We'll look one more time. I don't think it's going to change. It's at 27 right now, so Facebook is probably increasing the numbers as they do sometimes near the end of the broadcast when they hear that we're over and we're done. 27 people watched, and hopefully it'll go up when it hits my profile. And it says 2 groups, but it's more than 2 groups. It's at least 22 groups that we shared it into. If you want it in your group, let me know. And then, again, if you don't want it in your group, let me know. And we will go from there. Tomorrow is Saturday. There will be a rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bull at 10 a.m. Eastern, like we always are. The link will be posted. You're more than welcome to join the broadcast or go into the live chat on Dave Goldman and tell me that you want the link, and I will send you the link. If you want to be on the broadcast, it's me and 7 other people, maximum, total of 8. I need to know if you want to be on the broadcast ahead of time because we used the Chromebook this morning, which can usually handle me and 1 other person. If not, I have to switch out and use Donna's Chromebook because this one is old and we haven't replaced it yet. We did find what we're going to replace it with. Unfortunately, I didn't have the means to do it, and I will do it probably the first week of August. And other than that, live well, prosper. Please make sure you are registered to vote and you go and vote. Either vote early if you're not going to be able to get to a poll on November 5th. Do that where you can. And by any means, if you can't get to the poll, talk to your neighbors. If you're disabled or handicapped in any way and you can't drive yourself to the poll, maybe you can go with your neighbors when they're going to vote. In some cities, in some states, Uber gives rides to the polls for free, or they did in the past. Local cab companies sometimes will do the same thing. If you're a senior living in an assisted living center, sometimes your assisted living center becomes where you vote. Where my mom is at, they go downstairs into one of the meeting rooms, and that's where they vote. They set up polls, and her precinct is right there. And if she can't walk down because her legs are bothering her, they'll send a wheelchair up to get her and bring her back. So there's almost no excuse for not voting, with the exception of being still registered and dead, but dead people can't vote. Although the Democrats seem to think dead people can. Anyway, I'm Dave Goldman. You're not. It's 11:22. Go out there and make it a great day. Thanks for watching. Again, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, a rare Saturday morning boogie with the bull. Get into our groups and post what's going on in your world. Go to my profile and share stuff that I'll get shared for you. And let's just remember Trump, Vance, 2024. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is coming to an end one more time.